Good morning. So this video is going to be called 10 minutes at Trentham Monkey Forest. We're up in Stoke-on-Trent at the moment because it is my mum's partner's 80th birthday, so we're here for some birthday celebrations. It's a bit of a whistle-stop tour. We had to have a scan done yesterday and we've got another one booked for tomorrow, so we've rushed up country and then we're rushing back down again tomorrow. We're meeting up with them at midday and the Monkey Forest opens at 10 AM, so we have about an hour and a half to look around. We've then got to get back and get into our smart clothes and meet my mum and get to the meeting place and celebrate. I've got no idea if we'll be able to go around the forest in that length of time, but let's see what we can do. It's the last day of opening of the season and everyone's queuing outside. I don't know if it's usually busy at this time in the morning. Behind me I can hear the gates unlocking, so I better go and join the queue now. Bye. Adult tickets are £12 each, although I do recommend buying in advance. You save about £1.50, and as well as that there's just one queue for everyone and everyone gets a little bit annoyed if they are standing behind you while you are buying tickets. If you prepay for the tickets then you've just got a nice little thing on your phone that you can scan and it is really quick and efficient. Just by the front door there's this really weird creepy wicker creature. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but it is very cute. And before we go into the video, we need to watch a quick safety video. How intimidating is that? Apparently we can't feed the monkeys, otherwise they will eat our arms off. So according to the safety video, if you try and feed the monkeys, you will get your arm eaten. And if they don't eat your arm, then you'll get thrown out of the park. So better not do that. Completely frightening and made up statistic. Apparently 10 children were eaten here last year. So the level of threat is rising. We've just seen the signs saying the monkeys are around and we've just seen our first monkey in the distance. Apparently this particular kind is a brain-eating monkey. I don't know if you can see her there in the distance. She's sitting there really still. I can tell that she's watching us. That means I'm probably safe, but other people might not be, so be careful with this one. And just behind me is another one. Because I've seen it, it is playing calm. If they know you've seen them, then they will usually ignore you in favour of easier prey. That said, turning my back on them is probably a bit of a dangerous move, so I'd better keep moving. And in the distance here, you can see two more monkeys. They are lining the path on either side. My level of threat is rapidly increasing. So this brave person in the distance is actually feeding the monkeys while bystanders look on. It's an incredibly dangerous job and it takes a huge amount of bravery to do this. However, by feeding them fresh human remains, she reduces the risk of them attacking the park visitors. Apparently those particular monkeys only eat human fingers and toes, so that's what she has been throwing out for them. Baby one enjoying its diet of fresh, raw human remains. You wouldn't believe that such cute looking creatures could be so deadly. Of course, I'm keeping my distance because there's a very real threat to my life here. And this particular larger monkey is taking the final remains. The tiny baby ones are the most deadly ones. The larger adults actually have to hold back and they can only eat after the babies have left the area. This particular one just looked up at me. I think it's seriously thinking about trying to chew my hand off. I'm just trying to keep my distance, but there's not a lot of space behind me for me to back up. I'm actually starting to feel incredibly nervous here. Look at this one. You can actually see the raw human toe in its hand. In the background you can see a large green cage. Now occasionally one of these monkeys will go on a killing rampage. Last time this happened 15 park visitors were eaten. Apparently they were all killed within the space of about 15 seconds. So the park owners deal with this by having these steel cages. The cages then need to be electrified, otherwise they will chew through the wire within seconds. When this little one started eating another toe. They're really enjoying it. If you look closely you can still see the fingernail. Of course that would be a toenail on a toe. It's good that 5 years of medical school and 20 years of doctoring hasn't been wasted. Just in the middle of this bush there's a tiny one hiding in the undergrowth. There you can see him just at the base of the tree. He's clearly already eaten. What they'll do is hide in the undergrowth, and then as somebody unsuspecting is passing, they'll jump out and they will eat you whole. Look how they're swinging from the branches. Now actually they use this trick to tear the arms off their prey. However, if they start playing like this, it usually means they've eaten already and they're no longer hungry. The small and unusually deadly ones can contort their bodies into unusual shapes and make themselves look like native squirrels. They do this to lure in the ducks. Sometimes if they're especially hungry they will eat a duck, but generally their preferred food is human beings. For the pedants who are watching, I do of course have to point out that grey squirrels aren't native to the UK. There isn't any way for the monkeys to simulate orange hair. Look at this particular one. He's set up a line of vegetables. Now that's clearly supposed to be to lure me or someone else in. What he'll do is he'll sit there really still and eventually he'll contort himself to look like a rock. He'll then sit there until some unsuspecting herbivore comes close before snatching them and eating them. Thankfully they kill so quickly that the dispatch is pretty humane. Despite their status as a lethal apex predator, they're actually quite cute, and they are certainly absolutely fascinating animals. Anyway, we've moved out of the section where all the babies are, so we are into a slightly safer area. As I say, the adults are slightly less threatening and slightly less likely to kill you. Apparently this has something to do with the fact that their metabolism slows as they age, but despite that, there are still warning signs all over the place. The signs remind visitors that if they break the rules and survive the monkey attack, then they will be ejected from the park. Now this is a really important rule, and despite their innate tendency towards violence, aggression and killing, they're only acting in the way that they act. In fact, you do have to be quite respectful towards such a perfect killing machine. This particular monkey is taking a rare moment to digest its last human meal. In the foreground you can see an anthropomorphic baby monkey walking past. Apparently you can reduce your chance of being eaten by the monkeys by learning how to show some respectful body language towards them. Chattering your teeth together is apparently a friendly interaction as well as a way of showing respect to more senior individuals. So if I get cornered, what I apparently need to do is sort of chatter my teeth together like this. I feel considerably safer now for knowing this. Apparently at the bottom of this steep hill there is an ejection pit which will eject children in buggies and wheelchair users into the feeding area. Now I totally disagree with this. Of course the monkeys do need to be fed. I don't know if you can see just behind me, but there's a donation kiosk. Apparently, if you want to donate a family member to the Monkey Kitchen, then you can do that there. They're happy to accept anyone who's a non-smoker, though they do prefer people with around about a weight of 60 kilograms. Apparently that's the best value between nutrition, not too much fattiness, and good texture for the food. So if you have any family members approximately 60 kilograms in weight, consider visiting the kiosk. Monkeys battling for dominance. One has tried to jump over the other, but he got stuck halfway, so gave up. If you look through the tree, you can actually see one of the adults who's mastered the art of camouflage. You can see him when you're looking directly at him, but on a glancing view, he's very easy to miss despite being sitting there out in the open. He's obviously very close to the ground, so this is just a relaxed position, but if he does that higher in a tree, you know that he's sitting there and waiting to drop on somebody's head. He'll then peel open their skull and eat their brain, sometimes while the victim's still alive. Interestingly, if the monkey drops onto a politician, having the brain eaten doesn't actually affect them too badly. There are numerous politicians who have survive such attacks and are working perfectly effectively without the need to have a brain. From a medical perspective though, living without a brain isn't an ideal situation for most individuals. Here you can see two monkeys who the keepers are trying to entice into one of the cages. Thankfully these particular monkeys aren't on a murder rampage, they just need a bit of veterinary attention. These monkeys are incredibly tough and rarely get ill, but on occasion they do need to be seen by a vet. Apparently even then they can be dangerous. As you can see, the monkey's sort of circling the cage. I'm not sure if that's the one they're trying to trap or the other one. but they both seem to be wise to the trap. Sadly, I missed catching it on camera, but the small child in the distance with the umbrella almost got eaten by one of the monkeys. One of the keepers just had to run over to rescue them, so that was a near miss. At the moment, I'm sort of torn between the thought that I'm relieved that the child didn't get eaten and slightly sad that a naughty child didn't get eaten. On balance, feeding would have been a really interesting video, so I think I'm disappointed. Here we can see some of the monkeys eating. The one on the right of the screen is actually eating a small piece of human lung. The one on the left that appears to be eating an apple is actually eating a human gallbladder. People are frequently surprised at how similar a human gallbladder looks to apples. Thinking about it, it's also surprising how similar human lungs look to Swedes. If I didn't know better, I would think they were having a completely vegan diet. But if you manage to see the teeth of them, you will realise that there's absolutely no way that they could be anything more than obligate carnivores. That particular monkey sitting at the top of the tree branch is the one that I really have to be careful about. Now, as you can see, it's got itself into the perfect hunting position. In the background, you might be able to see the other monkeys egging it on. Now, as you can probably see, it's actually climbed even higher. It's up there right at the very top of the screen. That's an absolutely perfect position for it to drop down onto the head of an unsuspecting prey animal and kill it instantly. Thank God it's now climbing down a little bit. I think that's a situation slightly de-escalated. I wonder whether me with the camera has actually affected it. It knows that it's been seen, so it thinks there's no point in hunting anymore. One of the big highlights in the park is the feeding talk. Now, they have this talk every day before offering a human sacrifice to the monkeys. I'm going to film the sacrifice in a moment, although I'm not sure whether I'll be able to post that to YouTube, so I might have to edit it out. As you can see, the keeper's throwing vegetables at the monkeys. The monkeys are actually somewhat scared of vegetables, so this keeps her from being eaten. They're also incredibly inquisitive, so they now have to battle between their inquisitiveness and their fear to decide what to do. A lot of them, as you can see, are picking up the food. What they're doing is they put it in their mouth. This helps them to feel it in the same way that we might pick things up with our hands and touch them.
Oh, very intimate. In the winter, they wear a long thick coat to help protect them from the cold temperatures. And in the spring, they wear
And that's the human sacrifice complete. I have to admit I'm a little bit traumatised by the whole experience. But on that note, it's time for us to go and join the Christmas party. And that's my 10-minute monkey park video in 3, 2, 1, now.